Welcome to 221. More on malware, folks. What do we got to do? So, all right, maybe we check out these resources too. You know what I got to do? I got to play a video on these. These are way more fun than me reading. But let's talk about this. So, I just played a video for this class on white hat versus black hackers. I just can't do it. I blame the retainer. So the term of a hacker is used a lot. And then you watch on TV or some movie, they're typing on a keyboard, right? Hacking away. Maybe they're doing something you don't know. I don't know. But let's talk about different types in the real world. Sometimes we have unauthorized hacking, which is a lot of what you know. Criminals going in, or maybe it's like police going in, or some organization going in. You're trying to like hack into the bad guys corporation, whatever. But people go in unauthorized. Maybe they're breaking laws to steal data, want to get some information for ransom or do something else, whatever. Bad things, right? But sometimes people hack because they're authorized. So for unauthorized, we'd call this black hat hackers. Authorized hacking actually happens as well. So sometimes you got cybersecurity experts, and companies hire people to come in and say, "Hey, try to break our website." So they pay them, or they tell the world, "Hey, if you find any bugs, try to do this and report it to us. We'll pay you," kind of on a commission base. So these people are doing good things. I mean, they're doing it on purpose, and if they find things, they don't use it to like hold that company hostage. They're just going to report it, and the companies pay them for this. So this is a job, legit jobs, right? And then sometimes there's something in between. So there's people out there that will do illegal hacking, or kind of doing some unethical stuff, but what they do, instead of like, "Oh, I found a way to break in," instead of like messing with the company or trying to steal secrets, they'll actually share their findings. They report to the company. It's like Robin Hood in a way. It's like, okay, they're breaking the law, but they're doing it they're kind of called the gray hat hackers in a way, where people are out there, they'll share their findings. Hey, maybe why are they doing this? I mean, some people just do it for fun. Some people do it just to kind of, build up their resume. I mean, eventually these companies might hire these gray hat hackers. Or, they can do this kind of stuff. Like, hey, if someone just broke into your company, you might just want to hire them because they're pretty good, and you want to get them on your side. So, they're not doing this to steal information, but they're doing this to share, and for whatever their motivations are, just for fun, or just to maybe get hired, build a resume up, try things out, gain experience. But, not every company out there is like, "Oh, hey, I'm happy that someone who just broke into my stuff." No. So this course teaches you how to be an authorized ethical hacker. Okay. Yeah. Don't ever be evil, folks. Ethical hackers are in high demand. Yeah, I mean, seriously, if you want to get in a career of this kind of stuff, there is a lot available out there. A lot of companies a lot of businesses. You got some technology behind it. You got a lot of stuff, a lot of records. I mean, this stuff is in high demand all over the country, and especially people can do this remotely. I've got family members in this kind of stuff that they travel a lot. They get to see the world, because people want to hire people that know how to check this stuff. So another benefit, so it says, check this out. There's a lot of career choices. They pay really well too. Get into this kind of stuff. You can choose from a variety of educational paths. This is true. This kind of stuff doesn't just take a 4-year degree. Some stuff, I have to go get my engineering degree to do. No. You can get degrees in cybersecurity related stuff, but some of it is just certification programs. That's no college degree. Some are just 2-year associate degrees. So yeah, there's levels that you don't have to go for the whole college experience and, run up a lot of debt. You can get in with a lot less experience. And you know what? This is a career I think that from everything I've seen is that it's not required, where some career paths might require. You want to be a teacher, you better have your bachelor's degree. This kind of stuff? No. They want you to be able to do stuff. And there's a lot of avenues to get into this world. All right? Any good coach and military leader will tell you to have a good defense, you need to know a lot about offense. So there's different types of hackers, right? Different levels of sophistication. So not everyone's an expert. So here's one way they describe this. Script kiddies are, I hate that word. Is this actually a word that Project Lead the Way writes down? Script kiddie. So some people out there, they just find hacking tools. They didn't create them. They get them online through whatever means, and they use those to hack. They don't know how to write their own code. They don't really know what to do. They just run the program. Now, some people, hey, some ways to hack. You get some kind of inside info from some employee, right? You bribe them. Maybe you are that employee yourself. I don't know. You get some kind of insider information. You use social engineering to get to that. Sometimes you have hacktivists. They do social. I don't see how this is a progression level. Sometimes you have a group of hackers. They work together. A cyber syndicate. That's a gang. And then you know what? Sometimes countries out there are doing this cyber hacking, this espionage. So I think that's the big thing nowadays, right? You can other countries mess with each other, and that happens nowadays. Yeah. Where's the next biggest battlefield? It's in cyberspace, folks. You shut down people's systems. I mean, what if you could get into a country's nuclear plants and melt the reactors, mess with them? I mean, that's mess with whatever's controlling a dam or something. So you mess with the security features. You shut off their power, shut off communication systems. Yeah. The least sophisticated is the script kiddie. This is scum. They know nothing, right? No one knows about them. No, they know nothing, but why do we call them script kiddies? I don't know. Are they cats? I don't know. All attacks are dangerous. They still can do a lot because just because you have the tools, you can attack with things. So 2 different attacks. So there's an attack here. Think of the level of sophistication. Attack number 1, attack called I Love You, was a malware worm that was sent by script kiddies using email. The malware was sent using, if you remember what BBS, it's a Visual Basic file. So it runs basically running some code. I think that was one of those bad types of files we saw in the last unit. What said I loved you. It was hidden in the Microsoft, and the VBS is usually hidden in Microsoft operating system. It appeared to be harmless. So sometimes you just send a worm via email and it says I love you, and people just click on the file. Like nowadays, sometimes mail filters try to cancel those things out, or try to prevent you from opening those. They give you warnings. Don't open attachments from strangers. But sometimes people do. They double click it and then they're like, what? And they don't realize what happened. What do you think the goal was? So think about that attack. Now it's this other attack. What's the goal of that attack? Hey, do you think the malware that requires someone to pass an email is more or less malicious than a direct attack? I think that's up to you. Think about this. So one way to attack is just via email. People click on things. Maybe you know what? They're feeling down. They see someone send an email that says, I love you. Oh, thanks. Someone cares. Boom, I'm going to click on this. Attack number 2. An international activist group launched a distributed denial of service attack, DDoS, and suspended thousands of Twitter and Facebook accounts belonging to a militant group suspected of terrorism. Their goal was to bring down the servers and disrupt web service to the terrorists. So yeah, a denial of DDoS attack is where you click on this if you don't know what that is. So basically, you overwhelm websites. So the way this can happen, like you might have seen websites like smaller websites don't get a lot of traffic, so their systems aren't set up to handle that. But if you get attacked by a bunch of places at once, or not even attacked, just a bunch of different computers come in and they're all trying to get access to your website, you get all these like the pings coming in, and it just overwhelms the system. So it shuts it down basically. So legitimate traffic can't get through. I mean, so that's a DDoS. You're overwhelming it, so legitimate traffic just gets overwhelmed, and nothing can happen. So basically, it shuts it down. So these are hacktivists trying to do this. And think about this. One could argue that that attack had a positive ethical goal because it's a real group, but to shut down the terrorist activities. Do you think this would make the attacker an unauthorized criminal hacker or an authorized ethical hacker? I don't know. Think about it yourself. Where do you think that kind of stuff lies? And I don't know. So let's think about this. The purpose of both the script kiddie and the sophisticated activist group attacks was disruption. However, the motivation or goal of the activist group was quite different, right? They wanted to eliminate harm, while hackers may have other goals. Maybe they want to make money. Maybe they just want to harm people, right? So let's drag this. Let's try this out. Read each description of a motivation goal of a hacker and specific names for each type of motivation. All right. So if you don't know these words, whistleblower. This is someone at a company that sees something bad going on and they kind of report it to authorities. So that's a whistleblower. They're just kind of saying, hey, the place I work for is doing some shady business. Someone needs to check this out. Industrial espionage. This is kind of like where your different industries are kind of like spying on each other. Prevention. Social ideology. I think that's kind of the hacktivist type stuff, or financial gain. So your motivation might be social ideology because you believe in a cause or against a cause. Okay, let's try this. With permission from the system owner, authorized hackers find the weakness of a system and report their findings. Okay, so often fixing. The motivation is, I would say they kind of want to prevent things. So you want to prevent bad stuff from happening. Hackers engage in hacktivism to change an aspect of society, such as disrupting terrorists. Yeah, promoting light. So this is about your social ideology. Like, you don't agree with what they're doing, or maybe they're bad, or that kind of stuff. Companies steal information from competitors and gain the upper hand. Yeah, this would be industrial sabotage. Espionage, not sabotage, espionage. Kind of like stealing information. You want to know, like, maybe their sales numbers. You want to know their prices or how much they're paying for things. Or you want to know, like, some of their, like, behind-the-scenes secrets. Like, how do they do certain things? You gain... And so you want to copy some of their things, so you get into their systems. Criminals steal money from individuals or corporations. Well, that's financial gain. An insider, meaning an employee, exposes an injustice. So that'd be like being a whistleblower, right? Yay, I got it all right. Consider the following attack. Company B became the victim of industrial espionage, a cyber attack by Company A, who stole valuable information from them. Company B commits a similar retaliation attack to take back information. Man, there's a lot of like what-if scenarios here, right? So, hey, I stole stuff from you, so the other one wants to steal stuff. Is a retaliation attack an authorized or unauthorized attack? I mean, I can leave these up to you to answer, but what's the best way to do this? I would say that's unauthorized. What do you suppose is the motivation in Company B? What's the goal? I mean, might be just pure retaliation. Maybe you want to get back, or you want to get on even. What's the goal of motivation? Come on. What's the goal of retaliating? To feel good? What is this? Is this? Are we sitting down here? Am I a psychologist now? What class is this? You want to get even, right? Oh, maybe you want to hey, you want to, what's the goal of punching? If someone punches you, what's the goal of punching back? Why do you punch back? Why do you punch back? You want to get even. Maybe your goal is to say, hey, you want to punch back harder so they don't ever punch back again. You got to scare them. So then, hey, company A, B is retaliating and I can do more. Then they'll say, don't mess with me again. Sometimes you punch back harder. So same idea with this espionage. Maybe they want to, hey, you stole something that was worth this much. Well, I'm going to steal stuff worth stuff from you. Are either company's actions ethical? Is it ethical to punch back? Is it ethical to be the first person to just punch someone? Probably not. Is it ethical to punch back? I think today's society, we try to teach people not to. Some people go, oh, you got to punch back. Got to stand up to the bully and stuff. I think the question is this the right way to do this? Are there other legal means? Maybe you look at this and like your company B and like, hey, they can, there's other ways to, especially, you go to the, sue them. You have evidence that they did this. You have proof, sue them. Go to court. The challenge could be, what if the other company's in a different country? What if they're in China or Russia? What if it's or some country that doesn't have friendly relationships with us? Where, that becomes a bigger issue, right? So what do you really do with that? I don't know. So it becomes harder to just go through like the legal system to do that. Yeah. They face legal consequences. Company B for retaliating. Probably. I don't know. This is should you face consequences for punching back? Someone punches you at school and you punch back. Did you face consequences? Well, in school, we do. Both people get suspended. Did you face that? Oh, I think it depends. I think people have different opinions on that, right? It's the idea behind all that stuff. And same thing with companies. This is just punching back at a different level. It's just higher stakes. Different world. Is it ethical for the bully to punch you? No. I think that's pretty clear. Is it ethical to punch back? I think people have different opinions. I don't know. Society nowadays would say, no, don't punch back. What do I feel? Probably not. I think what you're supposed to do is just make find some humiliating photo and post it on social media and just tear them apart emotionally. That's what you do. You make memes about them. Isn't that what we do nowadays in the current year? Company B should just pay other people to hack them. You pay some of those black hat hackers, the gray hats. There you go. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Not punch back, just be sneaky. The ethical choice. Unauthorized hackers make unethical choices and are often motivated by financial gain. Theft has always been a problem. Okay, yeah. And I also mentioned this earlier. There's bounty programs. Sometimes make unethical choices, but sometimes like unauthorized, some companies out there go, hey, if you find bugs in our system and report those, we'll give you money for finding bugs depending on the severity. And this is true. Like, I think Microsoft pays out for this kind of stuff too. Like companies, you look up this online. Yeah, they do. So there's authorized and unauthorized hacking. That's the whole point of this lesson, folks. Authorized hackers, lifetime of earning, may never get hired. Unauthorized hackers. Now, yeah, you run the risk if people might try to be unauthorized hacker and say, hey, look, I did all this, hire me. People might not like that. You could face jail time. It depends how things go. Life's dangerous, unpredictable. The wild lifestyle. If you're an unauthorized hacker. You know? Authorized hackers, you can have a stable life. Rewarding. Of course, this is what you want to be. Whatever. Always use your cyber skills for good. Come on. Yeah, don't be a bad person. Malware and debt. What a weird lesson. Don't. Yeah, you're gonna learn stuff in this class. You don't want to do bad things with it. Yeah, seriously, in this class, you're gonna learn how to use some real tools to be able to mess with things, or learn that it's out there. Could you, if you were at school right now, could you mess the school system? Maybe. You could learn some things. Yeah. But you're going to get caught probably. Don't mess with things here. Find someplace else to mess with things. I don't know. Mess with things in this lesson. Find ethical sources for your hacking. Ethical outlets. So, okay, Unit 1, you learned a bit about malware and how it spreads. See if you can identify which of the following actions increase your chance of becoming a victim. You visit an edu website, click a research link, and end up in a .com website. Yeah, not... I would say no. .coms aren't bad. And .edus, like, usually education related, but... In your downloads folder, you see a docx file that does not have an MS Word icon. Yeah. So this might happen. Docx is a Microsoft Word file. But if you remember, you see that extension. But sometimes they have like hidden extensions where it says that, but it's really like a VBS file, or that's a bad one. You see a browser pop up. Your PC has been infected. Click here for the latest version. Yeah, that's bad. I would never trust those pop-ups. You go to your parents' house, grandparents' house, you see these pop-ups on their old computer. They got to run some malware detection on there. They should update their computers. You download a movie that has made last year from a free streaming media website. Oh no, that's legit. Oh, it's always okay to do that. Just to pirate movies. What? Oh, maybe it's not correct. Really? Is everything bad? I don't know about this one. Okay, obviously don't download free streaming. Illegitimate sites. I don't know. EDU websites. I don't think you should just be under the belief that an EDU website is going to be safe and a .com is not. There's nothing special about EDU websites. They're usually education-based. But it doesn't mean that their website hasn't been compromised. And a .com is not a website necessarily that's been compromised. Now, it takes you to a different website. Okay, you're like, I click on a research link and it's going to a different website. Maybe it's bad, but if the EDU website was good and they posted the research, I don't know. I don't agree with that. And they don't even explain context. I disagree, Project Lead the Way. Malware can attack your system many different ways. Now that you've known more about operating systems, you can understand. So different ways. I think we did some of these before. Yeah. Botnet. I think we even had this same picture. So you can have like, hey, I take over a bunch of computers and they're nothing harmless, but they're kind of like zombies in a way that I can activate all of them to like attack a computer. Like that DDoS attack type thing we talked before. If I have infected thousands of computers around the world, millions of computers, I can say, boom, tomorrow, I activate all the zombies, and they all just try to go to some website. And then you overload it. Keyloggers. So you can put something on your computer that that records what keys are pressed. Companies might put these on legitimately on your computers just to see what you're doing. I don't know, to track your work or whatever. But basically, like, hey, if you start typing your username and password in, even though it puts stars on the screen, it's logging the keys that you type. It doesn't know what website you're on, but if it sees that you typed in a certain website, and then you typed in something that looks like a username, like an email address, then you type in a password right after that, it goes, or, so they kind of look at the patterns of the keystrokes. Man in the middle, a human-based attack. So sometimes, like, you have like stuff over the internet, like especially like Wi-Fi. Someone can be in the middle of that, and they can intercept some of those communications, and maybe save some of the data, maybe change the data, whatever. Ransomware, I lock down your computer and I say, give me 1 million Bitcoins. Otherwise, I will delete everything. Rootkit, software running with elevated privileges. Yeah, usually, okay. So maybe mess with thing. Access the program while running. Okay, I don't know, whatever. Briefly summarize. It's dumb. Does this actually, this goes over each one of these? No way. Cool. So, okay. So we're going to go over these. So botnet attack. So the idea with the DDoS attack, you want to do this. This is what I said before, right? So botnets. So the idea is that you got a lot of zombie computers, and your attacker will, so it might be some handler intermediary computers. Basically, attacker says, activate the zombies, and I'll go to that website. So there's different types. Did we not do this? Okay, so I think we do these later in this lesson or in this unit where we actually show you what each of these types of attacks looks like. So ping flood, ping of death, smurf attack, mail bomb, teardrop. We're actually going to see what these look like because we're going to look at network traffic. Yeah. You can look those up if you want to. Sometimes it's just a lot of, so ping flood would be, or ping of death. I think those are both. What is a ping flood? I thought ping of death. Nope. Ping of death. Why do I need to look this up? PLTW. Okay. So ping of death, we'll talk about this one too, is where like, hey, so a ping, let's talk about different types. So a ping flood can be like, I just have a lot of pings from all these computers, right? And just overwhelm you with too many. Ping of death it gives you weird pings that the router doesn't know how to handle. So you remember that Warriors of the Net video we watched? Sometimes if you put that information in a weird way, it might scare the router or it might mess it up. So we'll talk about that. Maybe you have something oversized that sneaks in and then it messes with the system. What is the smurf attack? So those are different. Flood is doing a bunch of, really? That doesn't copy? It's just a bunch of smurfs? Large numbers of packets with the intended victim spoof source IP are broadcast. Okay, so the ping flood is like a bunch of different IP addresses coming in and attacking. The smurf attack is the idea that you, with the intended victim spoof source IP, has broadcast the computer network IP address. Okay, so here's the idea. And we're going to see this more later. The ping flood, I got a bunch of pings. What this does is, like, the idea of when I ping someone, there's supposed to be a reply. So what they do is they send messages to websites and say, hey, reply to me at the victim's IP address. It changes what their return address is. So a bunch of other computers are going to return to them at the same time by sending reply messages. So instead of sending like the send messages out, you're making others send reply messages out. That's kind of neat. I'll let you look up the other ones later. Keylogger attacks. So this is where like, hey, I might be like a USB device. I just slip it onto the side of a computer and it's now logging all the keys. And maybe I can pick up that USB device later, or maybe I have it, mail out. So sometimes you can have hardware key loggers that look like flash drives. Yeah, you slide them right in. Sometimes it can be software that comes in through some malware. And they just kind of recording keystrokes and that someone can check out later and kind of look over those and maybe say, oh, that looks like that's a credit card number, right? 16 digits, maybe with the dashes in between every 4, might be a credit card. All right. You see an email address and then you see some combination of stuff after that. Maybe email address, then a password. Man-in-the-middle attack. The idea is that these big person trying to send stuff to a website, but this person, man in the middle, is kind of like, hey, I'm going to look like I'm that website, so this person's actually talking to me first. Then I'll send it to the legitimate website. So this person, the victim, thinks it's going back and forth, but it's really doing this. So it looks okay to this person, but then the man in the middle can get the information. Ransomware. Oh, I'll just play a video on this. It's really great. But, companies, people take over systems, big companies maybe cities, government companies. You lock down the computers, you say, pay me if you want me to open up your system. And sometimes they pay off the bribe. And, a lot of different rootkits. So the idea of this sometimes is basically you're getting like lower level access to someone's computer. So like the root idea is like they can kind of mess with things like even at like the RAM level or lower levels of your computer, not just like, oh, stuff on Windows. So sometimes it's harder to access this kind of stuff or harder to fix it. It's not just, oh, delete the program. So it's getting into areas that it really shouldn't in the program. Like usually if you just get a worm, okay, your computer's supposed to install stuff. In this case, it's going to be going deeper, like, no, you shouldn't be able to install stuff there. But now it gets more access. So they play this Stuxnet. So you have this worm, and it got into Iran's nuclear facility. So yeah, the danger of this is where you get into like, you can put a worm inside like some kind of power grid or power plant, get inside some communication system, or a hospital. These things get into here, they can really like shut down a system. And I think that's where the real danger is with these kind of attacks. So and the problem with some of these is like, they talk about the Stuxnet one. It infected the systems, but then, and the centrifuges, but then it also infects other systems around the world. It is able to live and infect others before they can detect it. Because you don't just break the first computer. It's like any virus, like the coronavirus. If it killed everyone right away, then it wouldn't keep going. It would die really quick. I think that was like Ebola, right? When that popped up 10 years ago, whatever. It kills people too fast, so it can't keep going. But if you don't kill everyone, easier to spread. All right, I'll let you play this one. I'm going to keep going on. Programming errors. People write software. People put errors in their code. And that's why people hackers can get in. And sometimes it's not even, so it's like they make mistakes in their code. And that's the big problem with security experts. So just because of software error. Many security-related programming errors can be eliminated with good programming practice. Yeah, get better programmers to. Sometimes you actually, with your code, you have like, your quality assurance people, like testing to make sure the software works. But that's where hacks come out of. It's like sometimes, okay, you make it right. Sometimes it's just because you didn't do a good job. And that's it. Wow, this is it for this lesson. You just keep talking about stuff. Such a weird lesson. I feel like I have to do more videos, but in my class, I will next time.